Hey guys, what's up? Andrew Rooney here. I got a fantastic viewer question come through in the comments section, and I've had similar questions like this. This particular one was from Mark Sowers. I'm going to read it out to you.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Dear Andrew, love your reactions. Hey, what would you say to YOYOKA if she were your student? This is only a theoretical question. Best, Mark. Now, Mark, I bet you didn't think I was going to actually read this out on the channel, so hopefully that's all right. I just thought it was a really good question, and yeah, as I say, a few people have been asking me similar things. So I really got to thinking about this. The key things if I was in the position of teaching YOYOKA. Now, the first thing for me, and I'm really aware of this, is to not over-teach. I still clearly remember the first ever paid drum lesson I gave, and I had pre-planned and prepared all the stuff, hours of work and research going into what I was going to do on this first lesson. We're going to do 10 minutes of this, 10 minutes of that, and then for the last 10 minutes we're going to play along with the song, and she's going to leave, and she's just going to be so happy and amazed at what a great teacher I am, and she can play all this. I soon learned teaching doesn't really work like that. Everybody is different, everybody's got different needs and wants, everybody learns differently, and to my shock and horror when I first started teaching, not everybody wants to be a professional, full-time musician. The fact is, I was imposing a completely preconceived and totally inexperienced way of teaching onto those early students. These days, with a lot more playing and teaching under my belt, I approach things much more in the moment, and I wait to see how the student reacts to what I'm doing and, of course, where they want to go, not where I want to go. I never want to train a student to be reaching my personal goals. It's all about them, and even worse if I'm training them to sort of live out through them some kind of incredible career that I wish I had had. Other things to remember is, as a teacher, you can't experience things for the student, and you can't do the practice for them. And again, with a lot more teaching experience, I'm really aware that I don't want to shield young students from negative experiences, because that just creates a completely unrealistic view that life as a working or professional musician is just puppy dogs and rainbows, because it isn't. Anyway, I thought I'd start with that just to outline and make really clear that the journey is there for the student. And hold on. Wait. Before you say, she's better than you, she should be teaching you, she's got more views than you'll ever get. This is a viewer question, and I never said I was better than YOYOKA. Even if YOYOKA was better than me, I simply don't care. Whatever better in music means, it's not a sport. And also, people get really mixed up with coaching and playing, teaching and playing the drums. Listen, can Usain Bolt's sprint coach run faster than Usain Bolt? No. If he could, he would be out there winning gold medals. Was Phil Jackson a better basketballer than Michael Jordan in the 1991 Chicago Bulls team? Or the reverse, would Michael Jordan have been a better coach than Phil Jackson in the 1991 Chicago Bulls team? Coaching, tutoring, teaching, playing. Two separate things. Anyway, back to YOYOKA and teaching someone who already has an established voice on the instrument, not to mention a really large following. I'd be there as a mentor and pick and choose where I stepped in. I already have a student like this. He's about 14 or 15 years old, I think, and I'm really aware of not overdoing things and not over coaching him. He's already got a really strong concept on the instrument, and I definitely don't want to just drill that out of him. I previously had another really standout, phenomenal student. This was a young female student, about 14 or 15 years old, and one day she had ordered a book of jazz drum solos online, and she brought it into a lesson, and she could play pretty much almost sight read these famous jazz drum solos. And at that point, I thought, you know what? You just need to play. And I just basically stepped aside and I said, please, just play. I'm always here if you want to come back and a refresher or learn something new, or you need a kick in the butt, that's absolutely fine, but you just need to play. And my mentor at jazz school said the same thing. He just said to me, look, stop overthinking things, play. So basically my approach with young, very skillful players is simply just be there. Just be a strong and consistent mentor who's always there. There are a few real dangers with young and really impressive musicians. The two big ones are that they are young, and at this point of their journey in music, they could be used to just constant successes, and that's not how music works. They might have only seen their YouTube viewing numbers go up. They might have not had any negative comments yet. They might have seen their Instagram followers building and building, or they might simply just be the best musician in their class or the best musician in their entire school. That's one big party until it isn't. And then you're left grabbing onto the edge of the cliff and all the dirt's just crumbling from beneath your fingers. So coming in as a mentor, they have not done the thousands of gigs I have. They haven't been to music school. They haven't sat in an orchestra pit and followed a conductor. They haven't played on a cruise ship. They don't know what it's like loading gear out of a really shady pub at 2 o'clock in the morning. They aren't supporting a family by playing music. And on and on. Now, I don't say this to impress you or to tell you how amazing and experienced I am. It's just the way it is. And it's really important to acknowledge diversity and hireability if you do intend to make a career as a working musician. Ooh, that was a long one. Second, I would always make sure everything involved with the kit is fun. Again, you don't want to overteach here. If you kill the fun, you've killed the passion, and then you're through. This is often ignored by music teachers, and I remember across the road from our old drum school, there was a piano school, and you'd see the kids running up the stairs to the drum school, and across the road, getting literally dragged crying into the piano school. Now, there's just no future in that. You cannot improve on an instrument if you don't like it, and you certainly can't improve on an instrument if you aren't playing it. So number 2 point here, make it fun. Third thing for me would be looking to expand skill sets. One thing I notice with young students is a preference to rely on things they're already good at, and that is obviously completely normal. It can appear that other skills aren't necessary, especially if you're just killing it, you're just clocking up the views and the subscribers, or just easily the best musician or drummer at your school. Now, reading music and theory is the elephant in the room here, and I always encourage it, but of course, if it's going to take away from my first and second points, then you can certainly park it for a while. The real benefits of reading chops and theoretical understanding of your instrument are just not apparent to casual players or a lot of younger players. For me, what I do as a drummer, reading is absolutely essential, and it would just cut out far too many working opportunities if I couldn't read. Also, in 2021, there really is no need for the drummer to be the only person in the band who doesn't understand what's actually going on from a theoretical point of view. For example, you get hired for a good session, which is going to pay a lot of money. You're in the room, you've learnt the song, but then the producer goes, hey, drummer, can you put a crash on the and of 4? What happens? The drummer goes, and of 4? And if you're not part of that musical dialogue, if you're not in that conversation, you just get relegated to just a drummer. I never think it's a good idea for musicians and drummers who I work with to just assume such a passive role in a band. I'll finish my third point by saying that relying on any area is a really bad idea. I'm a big fan of diversity, so I think if you were relying on a YouTube career as a drummer, I think that's a really bad idea. I'm not saying YOYOKA is doing that. I don't know what her plan is, or if there is a plan. I just simply don't know. But I'm just saying that I don't think that is a good idea. I've got to expand the skill set. I'm not even saying it won't work. It could work. I don't know. It might lead to an incredible career with just mind-blowing experiences and just bucket loads of money. I don't know. I just think, in my opinion, and what I've seen and what I talk to other musicians about, diversity is just key. Third point, expand the skill set. Okay, my fourth point, what I would look at doing with someone like YOYOKA is I would start looking at some short, mid, and long-term goals. Now, you got to remember that these drummers are young, so these can be introduced along the way and in a really relaxed, natural manner. I always try and remind my students that we can do absolutely anything within the world of drumming, but to reach the promised land and to get where you really want to get to, we will need some goals. My fifth and final point, and by the way, thanks for hanging in there if you've made it this far, I'd ensure that they're getting challenged. This is what really does stoke the fire. You're either green and growing or ripe and rotting. There's no standing still. This could be as simple as introducing a new player to them that they weren't previously aware of, going out to a concert, or giving them a task that is currently just out of their reach. I hope that helps to answer how I would approach this situation. Let me know if you like this kind of content and you would like me to do more of this kind of stuff, answering viewer questions, and you think it might help complement the channel, add a bit of variety. I'd be more than happy to do it. As always, if you enjoy this, please be sure to subscribe and hit the like button, and I'll catch you on the next video. Ciao.